Let me give you a little bit of perspective. 18th century, it's important for political revolutions, also economic revolutions. Political and social largely are American War of Independence and then French. Okay, American and French. When it comes to economic, it was Industrial Revolution. American Revolution was more or less settled. Its impact was largely initially to the Americans itself. Later on it spread. However, French Revolution was very disturbing for the whole of Europe. This was bound to have consequences for the others. So the moment French Revolution broke out, it led to many wars. In fact, the other nations of Europe, they formed coalitions, and these coalitions were trying to bring back the pre-revolutionary France कि भाई तुम लोगों ने जो equality, liberty, fraternity शुरू किया इसको बंद करो किसी तरीके से. Why? Because the rest of the countries, they were still ruled by despotic rulers. So that's why lots of turmoil was going to happen in the whole of Europe, and this continued from 1789 till 1815 in two phases. The first phase is from 89 to 99. The second phase is from 1799 to 1815. During this phase, Napoleon became a legend. He first captured Italy, then he defeated Austria, then he defeated Prussia. He was never able to defeat England, okay, in a naval battle. That was his biggest weakness. Then he also defeated Russia. In fact, if we see the graph of the career of Napoleon, it goes something like this. He starts from 1796-1797 by capturing Italy, and the highest water point, it is 1807. In 1807, he was able to defeat Russia. Okay, so first 10 years of his life, he was a phenomena. It was very difficult to defeat him. But the anti-climax also started from 1808. So by 1808, he made one after the other mistake. In 1808, he tried to capture Spain, which led to a reaction against him, and it became an ulcer. Ulcer means initially it's a very small wound, but with the period of time that can even take somebody's life. That's why it is often said that Napoleon was destroyed by Spanish ulcer. That's a very famous statement. Why? Because he entered in 1808 with the objective that he is going to completely dominate Spain. However, the Spanish people, they led the guerrilla method of warfare, and as a result of this guerrilla method of warfare, there was no face-to-face wars, but this fight lingered on for 4 to 5 years. So he completely wasted his energy here. Then what he did? Then he fought against Russia. In fact, this expedition was the biggest disaster of his life. More than 60-70% of his army never came back. He tried to capture Russia during the winter time. Both Napoleon as well as Hitler have committed the same mistake, going to Russia during the winter season. There is no other enemy. The enemy is the climate. किसी को कुछ नहीं करना है. And they went out with a very famous strategy. The famous strategy was they burned down their cities and retraced. This was the strategy कि अब इतनी ठंड में क्या करेंगे, भूखे मरोगे. So that was the strategy utilized by the Russians. And as a result of this, when he was coming back from his Russian expedition, which was a failed one, there a coalition was formed, okay, and this coalition defeated him in the famous battle of Leipzig. So even more important than the battle of Waterloo is the battle of Leipzig, which happens in 1813. Okay, ये ध्यान रखना, बैटल ऑफ लीपचिग इज द मेजर बैटल. व्हाई? बिकॉज आफ्टर दिस ही वाज मेड टू एब्डिकेट, उन्होंने अपनी राजगद्दी छोड़नी पड़ी. ही वाज मेड टू एब्डिकेट हिज थ्रोन इन 1814 and he was sent to Elba. Elba, it's an island, okay, just below France, where he lived for a year, but man bhara nahi. Then he came back. He came back from Elba, came back to France, okay, and he ruled for 100 days, and then he fought the Battle of Waterloo in 1815. After Battle of Waterloo, he was sent to Saint Helena. Saint Helena, it's a very small island between the South America and the south part of Africa. So small island hai, where he lived for 6 more years. He died in 1821, and in fact before his death he was asked कि what went wrong, गलती क्या हुई, है ना, कि पढ़ाई क्यों नहीं की अच्छे से, what went wrong for you. So he said 3 things. 3 चीजों की गलती हुई मुझसे. Number 1, Spanish. Second is Russian, and third is with respect to Pope. He in fact has imprisoned Pope also, because Pope was not supporting his various methods. That's why he said 3 things. Okay, Russian expedition, Spanish ulcer, and Pope. These 3 things were responsible for my decline. In fact, many historians say that it was his insatiable ambition. कभी मन भरता ही नहीं था किसी चीज को एक्वायर करने के बाद, और के चक्कर में सब गवा दिया. So that's why we have to remember that Napoleon was a very important personality. However, he was defeated by 1815 completely. When he was defeated in 1815, a conference was formed. This is known as the Conference of Vienna or Vienna Congress. And this congress was led by a person known as Metternich. He was from Austria. He was a reactionary. Why he was a reactionary? Reactionary means a person who was not accepting the liberal values. Like he was against equality, liberty and fraternity. He was against the forces of nationalism. And wherever there used to be any kind of people asking for their self-determination, he used to completely crush such kind of movements. And he had done that in Naples. He had done that in Spain. Just like Napoleon had dominated from 1799 to 1815, Metternich is going to dominate world history from 1815 till 1848. During these 3 decades, roughly 33 years, he will have one specific agenda, that Austria should remain the major power. Second, he was trying to ensure peace, because they had been fighting against France for last 25 years, from 1789 till 1815. So he said, I want peace here now. So that's why wherever there used to be any kind of disturbance, Metternich used to send his forces and they used to calm it down. So that's why from 1815 till 1848, there was a kind of peaceful period in the history of Europe. During this phase also, new kinds of development emerged, which we'll discuss now. So I hope the perspective is clear to all of you. Okay, let us try to understand it now. So Napoleon, his invasion of Russia ended in defeat. After his defeat, the final defeat, it came in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815, and after this he was exiled to Saint Helena and he lived till 1821. Then after his era, we consider the next 40 years as unstable peace for nearly 40 years, because the next major war will come in 1853, Crimean War. तो लगभग हमारे 40 साल हो जाते हैं. Okay, and during this phase we see restoration of monarchy and all that. So when in 1815 when Metternich eventually took over the control of Congress of Vienna, he said कि जितने भी लोगों के साथ नेपोलियन ने गलत काम किया है उन सबको बचाएंगे अब सबसे. Okay, so he set few principles. He said that we are going to be bound by 3 principles. Number 1, principle of legitimacy. Like in France, the house which was ruling before Napoleon, it was the Bourbon dynasty, and the Bourbon dynasty was restored. Similarly, the dynasties were restored in other parts of the areas of Europe also. So principle of legitimacy. Second, he was believing in rewarding victors, rewarding victors means those who have taken full faith in their capacity, like Prussia, Russia, Austria. They were given various kinds of territories. And the third, probably the most important principle, it was balance of power. That the neighbors of France should be made strong, otherwise France is always going to create hassle for them. And that's why the territories were given to the neighbors of the France, so that it can have a semblance of balance of power. Like Belgium was merged with Netherlands, Piedmont, Sardinia was given Genoa. Many of these countries, okay, they were given different territories. Like even Prussia was also given some of the land along the Saxony river. So France was to be encircled by strong state. This was the concept of balance of power. These three major concepts you will remember. And in fact, whenever UPSC asks question, they either ask this as Vienna Congress or Metternich system. This was the Metternich system. This system rested upon the principles of reaction and कोई change नहीं होगा. No kind of application of equality, liberty, fraternity, nationalism. None of those forces were recognized by him. Okay. In fact, there is a very famous historian who says that when the world was becoming younger, Metternich was growing older. The world was trying to change. Previously, it was on the basis of despotism, on the basis of privileges, on the basis of the domination of church. The world was now changing, but Metternich was not ready for it. He wanted that जैसे पहला था वैसा ही होना चाहिए आज की डेट में, हमें कोई चेंज चाहिए ही नहीं किसी भी तरीके का. So as a result of this, okay, this phase is led by Metternich, and he leads this reactionary monarchical forces, and he operated through an organization which is known as Concert of Europe. आज तो concert का meaning अलग होता है, but that was known as concert. And he suppressed popular revolt in Naples, Spain. No liberty was allowed in European countries. Okay. However, what do we see? By this time, when new ideas come in front of you, you cannot just stamp them down for a very longer time period. There's a very famous quote, nobody can keep the idea down whose time has come. So that was the issue in 19th century Europe. Democracy, the spread of democracy and political liberty has already increased. Aspiration came among the liberal thinkers, and progressive, they advocated for democracy. So people were asking for it in different parts of the world. So you cannot keep it for a very long time. And that's why when Metternich was trying to bring everything down, people were again trying to increase their say. Alright. So let us try to understand that. So during this time, post Napoleon, okay, from 1815 onwards, both Germany and Italy, they were trying to revive themselves. But it was not in the interest of Austria to have a Italy which is going to be unified. Why? Because the northern part of Italy, it was under the control of Austria. And similarly, Austria was also having domination among the German states also. So that's why this Italy and Germany, they were trying to ensure their unity during this time. So Congress of Vienna fragmented Italy into 8 states with northern Italy under Austrian control. So it was not in favor of nationalism. Similarly, Germany was organized into 38 states, and it was governed by Diet. Diet was a kind of parliament, and it was presided by whom? Austria. And nationality cause was not lost, but both Italy and Germany unified and emerged as nation state only by 1870s. In fact, there is a very famous statement that all the undoings of the 19th century were against the system of Vienna. जो भी इसने रोकने की कोशिश की उसको बाद में लोगों ने अचीव किया. Okay, that 19th century is nothing. It is the undoings of the problems of the Vienna Congress, which is created. Again, the first major event after 1815, it again comes in where? France. So what happened in France? King Charles X. Okay, King Charles X, he came to power in 1824. Little bit of background. In 1814, when Napoleon was dethroned, Louis XVIII came to power. He was a very old man. Okay, बहुत old थे. The moment Napoleon came back in 1815, he ran away, भाग गया छोड़ छाड़ के कि मेरे बस की नहीं है सब देखना. But when Napoleon was defeated in the Battle of Waterloo, he was brought back. कि नहीं राजा जी वापस आ जाइए. So he came back. So he continued till 1824 when he died. In 1824, the power went to Charles X. Okay, power went to Charles X. But this Charles X, he was a very reactionary person. He said that I want to again create the kind of regime which was before 1789. So that's why Charles X, he dissolved the legislative body, the Chamber of Deputies, suppressed press freedom, and even restricted the voting rights. So when he did all this, the people of Paris were not going to sit away. So what happened? Parisian uprising erupted, first major unrest since 1795. बहुत लोगों का भरा हुआ था ना, 30-35 साल से बैठे हुए थे, मौका मिलना दो अपने को. And royal forces, they were overwhelmed by the revolutionaries, and as a result of this, Charles X again he fled, छोड़ छाड़ के भाग गए, and in his in the other throne, it was now passed down to Louis Philippe. Louis Philippe, he was from Orleans dynasty. Which dynasty? Orleans dynasty. So the Bourbon dynasty comes to an end in 1830. इसके बाद Bourbon dynasty का the end हो गया. Orleans dynasty comes to power. He came to the throne along with the middle class support. So 1830 remains a very important event in the European history. Why? Because this was first major setback to the system of Vienna Congress. They had went by the system of legitimacy कि भाई कोई भी जो legitimate ruler उसको हटा नहीं सकते. But यहाँ पे legitimate ruler was Charles X. But this was taken down by the people of France, and in fact it was accepted by all the powers. उन्होंने कहा चलो ठीक है अब हो गया तो हो गया. But it happened very quickly. This revolution is also known as July Revolution because the events happened in the month of July. तो इसको हम जुलाई रेवोल्यूशन बोलते हैं. 1848 का जो रेवोल्यूशन है उसको हम फेब रेवोल्यूशन बोलते हैं. तो कभी क्वेश्चन में डायरेक्टली आ जाए द फेब रेवोल्यूशन, so you should know फेब रेवोल्यूशन is of 1848, जुलाई रेवोल्यूशन is of 1830. That's a basic thing you can remember. The impact of this can be seen even in other part of the world. Like Belgium, it gained independence from Netherlands, where it was merged in 1815. Greek independence also came from Ottoman Empire with the support of major European powers, and some remain unsuccessful. Like Polish revolt was also there, but it was crushed by Russia. Russia did not allow it to happen. So Europe was also affected by the revolution of 1830. In fact, as a result of this, Chartist movement also started in England, which we'll discuss later on. Then the second major revolution, it came in 1848. Why 1848? Because again, the people were in unrest against the rule of King Louis Philippe. Okay, Louis Philippe, he was given the charge in 1830, but people were not very happy with his regime. He was following a foreign policy which was very subservient to the rule of England. तो लोगों को अच्छा नहीं लगता था कि यार मजा नहीं आ रहा, तुम लोग इंग्लैंड से लड़ाई नहीं कर रहे हो, दोस्ती करके बैठी हो. It was very spontaneous uprising, in fact, and the crowd, it stormed into defenses and government building. Monarchy was overthrown. Okay, and what was the aftermath? A French poet, Lamartine, he became a leader of opposition, and one very famous socialist, Louis Blanc, he came to power, and he advocated for many socialistic reforms. This was the February Revolution. It also had a lot of impact, and after this, elections were held, and which favored moderate over socialist. Okay, and then the most important thing which we have to remember, it led to the rise of Napoleon III. Napoleon III, he was the nephew of Napoleon, and this person was now going to be considered as the president in 1848. Within 4 years of his becoming president, he is going to again coronate himself. So Napoleon के blood में ही है, पहले बनेंगे president या council, थोड़े दिन में कहना नहीं हमें राजा बनना था, गलती हो गई. So by 1852, he himself became the king. And in other parts of the world, what do we see? We see triumph of nationalism, nationalist movement, the rose in Hungary, Bohemia, Milan, Venice, and Charles Albert, he was ruling the area of Piedmont, Sardinia, Italy. he also declared war on Austria. And counter revolution, if we see, monarchs regained control by summer 1848, and by that time Metternich fled. Metternich fled to which country? England. भाग के सब लोग कहाँ जाते हैं हमेशा? England, because of rule of law. It's very difficult for anybody to get any kind of punishment there, है ना? जिंदगी भर rule of law चलता रहता है वहाँ पे. So anyway, after 1848, we see some other developments. Hi, a very good evening to all of you. I'm Vikas Elawat. I'm a former civil servant. I was able to crack UPSC twice. In fact, in 2018, I was able to get highest marks in history optional, and they were around 324. So this year, I'm coming up with a series which I'm calling Self-Study History Optional. इस series में 100 से ज़्यादा वीडियो होने वाले हैं, which are going to cover the different nuances of ancient, medieval, modern as well as world history. So those of you who are preparing for 2025, register करिए and try to get the maximum out of this specific initiative of ours. So at Prep Career IAS, we are producing results from last many years. 2023 में बहुत सारे टॉपर्स हमारे इंस्टीट्यूट से थे. 2022, 21 हर साल बहुत अच्छे टॉपर्स यहाँ से निकले हैं. And they have been able to get very good marks in history optional. So those of you who are thinking कि यार start करके कितना कर पाएंगे कितना नहीं कर पाएंगे, we already have achievements with us. I was able to achieve, my students are achieving, and you can be the next. इन सेशंस में क्या होने वाला है? नंबर 1 विल बी फोकसिंग ऑन फाउंडेशन ऑफ बेसिक कंसेप्ट्स, स्टार्टिंग फ्रॉम व्हाट इज हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज हिस्टोरिकल पीरियड, व्हाट इज प्रोटो हिस्ट्री, व्हाट इज प्री हिस्ट्री, बेसिक लेवल. ओके. सेकंड, अलाइनमेंट विद यूपीएससी सिलेबस. जितना भी हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल का सिलेबस है वो 51 पार्ट्स में डिवाइडेड है. सो वी आर गोइंग टू अलाइन ईच एंड एवरी कंसेप्ट विद द सिलेबस इटसेल्फ. नंबर 3, वी आर गोइंग टू फोकस ऑन आंसर राइटिंग. ऑल ऑफ यू नो कि जो मेंस है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं होता है, वो सब्जेक्टिव लेवल पे होता है, और आप सब लोगों को आंसर राइटिंग सीखना शुरू करना पड़ेगा, है ना. वी डू नॉट हैव टू मच ऑफ टाइम, तो स्टार्टिंग से ही आंसर राइटिंग शुरू करेंगे. एंड नंबर 4, द ओवरऑल पैकेज इज़ वेरी हॉलिस्टिक इन नेचर. तो अगर आप इसको अच्छे से कर लेते हैं तो जो बेसिक लेवल फाउंडेशन हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल की वो कंप्लीट हो जाएगी. यू आर गोइंग टू गेट मैनी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग्स अलॉन्ग विद दिस. ओके. 100+ सेशन है, चारों पार्ट कवर होंगे. थीम वाइज सेग्रीगेटेड डायग्राम, फ्लो चार्ट, जितने भी इंपॉर्टेंट एनसीईआरटीज हैं. देखो, अगर हम सारी एनसीईआरटीज को कंबाइन कर दें, एंशिएंट, मिडेवल, मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड ऑफ वेरियस बोर्ड्स ऑफ इंडिया, तो 25 से 26 एनसीईआरटी निकल के आती हैं. उन सबको हमने कोहेरेंट फॉर्म में डिज़ाइन किया है सो दैट यू कैन लर्न द बेस्ट फ्रॉम दैट. ओके. बिकॉज देखो, हिस्ट्री में रिसर्चेज चलती रहती हैं. अभी तमिलनाडु की जो एनसीईआरटीज हैं, दे आर मोर इंपॉर्टेंट इन कंपेरिजन टू द रिसेंट हिस्ट्री देन द प्रीवियस हिस्ट्री, जो कि आर एस शर्मा वगैरह, सतीश चंद्रा या फिर बिपिन चंद्रा ने लिखी हैं. That's why we are covering all the NCERTs, and that's why 100+ सेशंस हो जा रहे हैं टोटल मिला के. देन 30+ वैल्यू एडेड आपको डॉक्यूमेंट मिलने वाले हैं, डेडिकेटेड आंसर राइटिंग सेशन मिलेंगे, जूम सेशंस भी करेंगे बाद में, ताकि आप लोगों की जितनी भी डाउट्स हों विद रिस्पेक्ट टू लर्निंग दे कुड बी सॉल्व्ड. ओवरऑल जो है आपको क्लास की पीपीटीज मिलेंगी, कंसेप्ट लिस्ट मिलेगा, PYQs, जितने भी PYQs हैं उनको अच्छे से हमने डिज़ाइन कर दिया ताकि आप सब उनको अच्छे से पढ़ सकें. माइंड मैप मिलेंगे पूरे सिलेबस के, वर्कबुक और लर्निंग असाइनमेंट्स मिलेंगे, एंड सेल्फ असेसमेंट टेस्ट, सो दैट वंस यू लर्न समथिंग तो साथ में उसको एटलीस्ट इवेल्युएट भी करना चाहिए ना, कि भाई हमें कुछ समझ में आया भी है, नहीं आया, एटलीस्ट जितना रिक्वायर्ड है वहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं या फिर नहीं पहुँचे हैं. तो आपको करना क्या है? What we need to do दैट, सबसे पहले आप रजिस्टर कर लीजिए. ठीक है. आपको एक स्पेसिफिक गूगल शीट मिलेगा, उसमें आप रजिस्टर कर लीजिए. देन एज ऑल ऑफ अस अंडरस्टैंड, हर किसी के पास लिमिटेड स्लॉट्स हैं, तो आपको एक स्पेसिफिक कॉल आएगा, एंड दैट इज समथिंग विच वी आर कॉलिंग एट स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस. बिकॉज अगर हमें आपको ये सारी सर्विसेज प्रोवाइड करनी है, द नंबर ऑफ स्टूडेंट्स विच वी कैन हेल्प, दे आर ऑलवेज लिमिटेड इन नेचर. सो अकेडमिक काउंसलर इज गोइंग टू कॉल यू, दे गोइंग टू हेल्प यू आउट, दे गोइंग टू अंडरस्टैंड आपकी रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. हो सकता है आप कॉलेज के फर्स्ट ईयर में हो, सेकंड ईयर में हो, थर्ड ईयर में हो, और यू मे हैव ऑलरेडी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर सम टाइम एंड यू आर नॉट गेटिंग द डिजायर्ड रिजल्ट. तो इसलिए हमें स्क्रीनिंग प्रोसेस चाहिए होगा. एंड फाइनली ऑन द basis of this, you're going to get the benefit of this program.